Hello. It's Halloween, which means we use the Beetlejuice cup. Obviously we use the Beetlejuice cup on Halloween. Obviously. Seems like really obvious. Morning, Liz. Morning, Jen. How's everyone doing? Today's your Friday? That's exciting. I'm unfamiliar with the concept of a Friday. Today's your Friday too, but not for good reasons. Oh. Do we want to know what the bad reason is? Do I even want to know? Today, oh, that's right, I forgot about those. Today I am making myself a cookie butter latte because I have cookie butter again and I just felt like it. So that's what I'm doing. And nobody can stop me because there's no one else in the house that's awake except for me and the baby, and she's a fetus, so she can't stop me. Thank goodness it's sugar-free, otherwise I would be overloading her tiny little body with a lot of sugar, but I'm not, because it's sugar-free. So lucky me. Let's open our brand new cookie butter and make a latte. Come on. Come on. Come on. Do your thing. Open. 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 I just want the cookie butter. Just give me... We did it. Hey, Becca, you never told me what the favorite was. This is so delicious, you guys. It's like almost incomprehensible how delicious this could be. I just want to stick this whole spoon in my mouth, even though I know it's for the coffee. I just want to put it in my face instead. I'm just saying hi, I can't say, okay, that's okay, hi. We love you anyway. Oh, I did that already, Becca. Done. I'm only on for a couple minutes between students. Well, hello. In between students, we're making a coffee butter latte. Spoon for mouth, spoon for coffee. That's right. Spoon for mouth, spoon for coffee. Let's go with this one. Let's do it. Good morning, Mina. Spoon for mouth, spoon for coffee. You know, I don't disagree with that phrasing. Let's do it. Spoon for mouth, spoon for coffee. It's so good. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense how good it is. Yeah. I did that this morning, Becca, because what was the most interesting part about the Q&A, Mina? Did I miss something interesting? I didn't think it was that interesting. What was interesting about it? Tell me everything. The reason I put it on YouTube is because I got an actual violation on my account yesterday. Like, not one of the ones from live. The live violations aren't real violations. Those are like, a live violation means like, we're not going to put your live on the For You page or whatever, but it's not actually a violation on your account. I got my first violation on my actual account for making that birthday video for Becca's triplets because they said that it was not original content. And I was like, there are so many people on this app that read things from other people and like monologue from stuff. Like, what? No, it's not your fault, Becca. I didn't know that was going to happen. You didn't know either. So I put it on YouTube instead because I was like, yo, what? Absolute insanity on the part of TikTok. So, anyway, that's why I put it up on YouTube this morning. I did not know that that was going to happen. That is a new feature that did not happen in the past, obviously, because I have read other things before and they are just angry. Yeah, but I would have said no and put it on the other account if I... Yeah, the thing is, Mina, though, like, here's the thing about custom slimes. I think because I make slime, I pretty much make everything that I want to have. So, like, the only thing I cared about when I was saying that custom slime thing was that you make a slime that is of that texture and stuff. And you know pink's my favorite color. But, like, I trust the artist, you know what I mean? Which, yeah. Mina, are you happy or sad that I told people to bully you? Are you mad at me for that? Or are you like, that's okay, she's kind of funny and cute? Which is it? It was a loving bullying though, right? I pulled out my ambrosia salad after the Q&A. There you go. I need to be bullied, honestly. See, that's what I was saying. That's what I thought too. I thought that me telling everyone to force you to make slime for them and give you their money is pretty much like friendship. It sounded like bullying, but it's really just niceness. You're always funny and cute. That's not true. There's a lot of times where I'm not funny, and there's a lot of times when I'm not cute. Your husband lies to me about them all. Well, right now you can't, Jen, because she refuses to make slime. Refuses is a strong word. What you have to all do, everyone who is here right now, when this live is over, go to the comments of Mina's videos and just torment her until she makes slime for you. Hey, Heidi. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very sweet of you. So what you all have to do is you go to her comments and you say something like, Mina, if you don't make slime, I'm gonna cry. Because she doesn't want you to cry. Or you could say, Mina, oops, that stinks, Becca. You could say, Mina, if you don't make slime for me, then I'm not gonna have slime for a whole year. And then, or you could say, Mina, if you don't make ambrosia salad slime right away, you're gonna make Sasha cry, and she's pregnant, and you don't want to do that. That would probably make her do it. She wouldn't want me to cry. I'm trying to think of other ways that you could threaten Mina gently. Mina, if you don't make slime, Sasha's not gonna send you your slime this month. Ooh. Yikes, see, that's harsh, right? I'm gonna owe her a slime in November, but maybe I'll withhold it until she makes slime for everybody else. No, that was good, Becca. I liked it. That was good. It's true, you are in driving distance. You could all hang out, make slime, or I'll be sad about it for a month. Exactly. Mina doesn't want anyone to be sad, so it's really easy to threaten her with your emotions. Now listen, I do not normally advocate for emotionally abusing people, which is what we're doing to her right now. That being said, I want her business to succeed. So I'm okay with you emotionally abusing her if it means that she's going to make slime and sell them. Well, I mean, listen, I am what I am. There is not a lot of emotional abuse that I will stand for, but this I'll stand for. Mina, do you see what you've done to poor Jen? Jen is a good person. She buys me Daiso and mails it to me from Washington. She's a kind soul. She has a bonus kid who she gives slime to. And you're gonna make her cry like that? It's really mean, Mina. I don't really understand why you would do that, but everyone's different. I wouldn't do that, but you do you. See, that's good emotional manipulation. That was good, right? I turned it on really hard there for a second. I might be a bad person. I just realized this. I might be a bad person. If I have the ability to do that, that was really bad. That made me feel bad. Like my heart hurt a little saying that. Ooh, I've been planning on my Gilmore Girls real stuff for forever and I let it overwhelm me. Maybe no theme. If you want to brainstorm, we're all always here for you. You know, we're a great bouncing board for ideas. And we can tell you what we want. That's the great thing about this group is we're very vocal and we'll just say what we want. I want marshmallow bean slimes. Next person can say what they want. That's all. This coffee is so good, by the way. Like, I did a great job this morning. I'm really feeling my Wheaties today, apparently. So anyway, I have too many ideas. That's the problem. So I understand that. That's a problem I run into a lot. So what I try to do, Mina, and maybe this will help you, I don't know if it will, is I try to make a list. So like I have a notes app in my phone. And what I do is I write out all the ideas I have for a theme. In your case, Gilmore Girls. And maybe this won't work for you, but here's just an idea, right? Okay. You write out all the ideas that you have. I don't know anything about Gilmore Girls, so I can't say it. Let's just say you say something called Star Hollow, right? And you want it to be fall and cute and pumpkin spice latte. I'm just making this up, right? Okay. But like you have like the names of the characters, the names of the places you want to represent, whatever like that. And then I know that I need to have a variety of textures, right? So I write out the kind of look of the idea. Like let's say when I was doing, I haven't watched any of it. No, I've never seen even one episode of it. So then I would write out, I'm going to give you the example of like how I did the Wicked ones. So I have like Galinda, Elfa Butter, those two we've been making since 2017, so forget those. But I want to make something for Emerald City. I want to make something for, you know, Nessa Rose. I want to make that. So I wrote all those things out, and then I have the colors that are associated with them and like the vibe that they feel like to me, right? So then I would say, okay, well, I know I want to have different textures, so I have to plug and play with those things. And like, I just fill in the blanks of what's missing texture-wise that will fit with the vibe that I wanted from that thing. I don't know if that works for everybody, but that's how I do it to like narrow down the things. And then if I have too many ideas, I try to push one to the next restock. Yeah, that's all. That's my lesson on ADHD brainstorming for the day. Won't work for everybody, but it works for me. The other thing I wanted to tell you all is if you are a Patreon person, especially if you have a birthday in November, I posted the signups for November's Roll for Slime for all of November's dates because, like I said before, we're going to be splitting them up. So feel free to go after this and sign up there. That's it. I don't have anything else to say. So we're going to read. We're going to read. You love Gilmore Girls? A lot of people love Gilmore Girls. And like I said yesterday, I have put on hold the memoir of the grandma. We were just gently bullying Mina, Liz, but like in a nice way. I don't know, maybe it wasn't nice, but that's all you missed. Basically was us just telling Mina what we want her to do and how she's gonna make people cry if she doesn't make slime. So that's all you missed, which, you know, right. It's my second favorite show of all time, and it's the season 4. Yeah, what's a nice bully? Anya, you missed it. I nicely bullied Mina by saying if she didn't make slime, everybody would cry. And I only consider it a nice bully because she'll profit from our bullying. So, you know. Kirk would be a chaotic female bomb. I don't know who Kirk is, but I believe you. Who's, you know what? I'm not even gonna ask, because how would I even know? I could ask for clarification and we could be here all year. Because I don't know anyone except for Rory and Lorelai and Luke. Luke is the guy who owns the coffee shop, right? So see, Luke should be a cloud dough that looks like flannel. That's unexpected. People didn't see that one coming. You might be crying though, Liz. Don't tell her that you're not crying. Tell her you are crying. Tell her that it smells like a diner. Oh, okay. All right. Let's read. Today we are on chapter 12. You're crying over Rosewater. Rosewater is really good. I have that one, so I'm not particularly crying over that one, but I would have cried if I didn't have it, but I do have it, so I'm okay, actually. Oh my God, see, I just did what Liz just did. Oh my God, I'm just kidding. I'm totally crying over it. It's really sad. I killed my Rosewater and I don't know where it is. It's definitely not on my desk in the slime room, so that's really bad for me. Where did it go? Oh my gosh, I must have dropped it somewhere. Maybe I dropped it on the floor and it got yucky, and then I need a new one. That didn't happen. I didn't drop it on the floor. It's just sitting on the desk in the slime room. I know exactly where it is. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Chapter 12. Selena Gomez and the Wizards of Waverly Place. 1,200 miles away from Disney Channel's corporate office in Burbank, Catherine Sullivan spent the early 2000s creating an empire of her own. Petite and blonde, Sullivan had a soft Texas drawl that belied her feisty grit. That's really funny, Becca. She opened her acting studio in the Dallas suburbs at the turn of the century and built a loyal following of tiny talent who dreamed of striking it big in Hollywood. And since the majority of opportunities for kid actors were on Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, Sullivan trained her young pupils to cater to those networks' needs. Inside the walls of her studio, she tutored them in auditions, screen tests, chemistry reads, sitcom timing, and the art of convincingly working with food props getting dropped on their heads or smashed in their faces, and how to dutifully take direction to mold themselves into whatever vision a producer might have for that part. Quote, well, I would mess with them and give them all kinds of direction that didn't even make sense because, well, that's what Disney did, Sullivan said. It was a tactic that she learned after she had done a special coaching section with Miley Cyrus for one of her Hannah Montana callbacks, only for the network executives to give Miley completely contradictory performance notes in the audition room. Hey, Sloth, we barely just started. We're only like a paragraph in, so you're totally fine. Well, Miley was so mad at me, and then when she got the part and got on set, everything I told her is exactly what they did for the show, Sullivan said. They were just screwing with her to see if she could take direction, end quote. And since her certain network executives were known to be disarmingly blasé at auditions, Sullivan would practice doing the same charade with her students, answering pretend phone calls during their readings and sitting stone-faced as the actors cracked jokes. Well, they wanted to make sure that their stars weren't going to be rattled, that they could handle anything with confidence and not crumble, she said. That's what my kids could do, and everybody else's couldn't. Morning, Avery. We barely just started, so you're fine. We're just getting to know this acting coach in Texas who may or may not know Selena Gomez. The chapter's about Selena Gomez and the Wizards of Waverly Place, but we haven't gotten to any of that yet, so you're perfectly on time. Morning, guys. Back in LA in the early 2000s, Disney Channel casting director Joey Paul Jensen had also been working as an acting coach on the side. And when one of her students suggested she do a guest spot at teaching at Sullivan's studio, Jensen flew east to see what the fuss was about. But she was impressed. Over time, she began looking into Sullivan's studio for talent to cast in Disney Channel projects. She brought Sullivan's son Cody Lindley in for a part on That's So Raven, which later led him to land a role of Miley's love interest Jake Ryan on Hannah Montana. Soon, Sullivan was a vital pipeline of talent for the network. Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, Debbie Ryan, Madison Pettis, and more recently, Bunked star Mallory James Mahoney were all discovered out of her studio. Every kid watched Disney, and Selena, Demi, Debbie, and all those girls would practice doing that little Mickey Mouse wand thing, Sullivan said. They all just really wanted to be the person to get to do that one time. When I asked Sullivan what it is about Texas that led it to producing so many successful child actors, she didn't have to think very long about it. Well, there's a distinct way we raise children that's different than in California, Sullivan said. We're all about loving our kids, but we also discipline them. You don't see a ton of spoiled brats in Texas. Agree to disagree. Having done multiple slime conventions in multiple cities in Texas, I'm going to agree to disagree. I have done many in California and I have done many in many states, and the children of Texas are no less entitled than the children everywhere else. Speaking as a vendor at a children's event. That's all I'm gonna say. Selena Marie Gomez's parents had her when they were just 16 and 17 years old. Her mom, Mandy Teefy née Cornet, and her dad, Ricardo Gomez, separated when Selena was 5. And Mandy raised Selena in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburb of Grand Prairie while struggling to make ends meet via shifts at Starbucks and Dave & Buster's. Quote, "Well, when I was growing up, I was always bullied because I was the outsider, the weird girl with the purple hair and the combat boots," Mandy told the New York Times in 2017. "And then I was a teen mom, and I really got judged." Mandy dreamed of becoming an actor and often brought Selena, named after the Mexican-American singer Selena Quintanilla, R.I.P., along to her community theater rehearsals. And at times, Mandy and Selena would just have to dig between the car seats to scrounge up enough change for gas, or they would have to walk to the dollar store to buy spaghetti for dinner. When a 7-year-old Selena told her mom that she wanted to be on TV, Mandy found the funds to enroll Selena in a group masterclass at Sullivan's studio, as well as a private one-on-one weekly session with Sullivan to help her prepare for TV auditions. The sessions weren't cheap. 6 weeks of group classes cost around $225. God bless a different time. $225 for 6 weeks of any class? I mean, God bless you. Lucky freaking ducks. I mean, I know that they're struggling, so it seems like a lot to them, but like, what I wouldn't give to pay $200 for 6 weeks of anything anymore. Oh my God. I can't even get glue for $200 anymore. While private sessions were about $40 an hour. It's very lucky. I don't have any kids in classes currently, but those of you who have kids in any extracurricular classes, if you want to drop the per 6 week cost in the chat, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's probably more than $225. What do I know? But sensing Selena's promise, Sullivan would hold Mandy's checks until the funds could clear her account to pay. Well, Mandy would put all her money in whatever Selena wanted to do, Sullivan said. It's a real rags to riches stories. 8 weeks of traveling softball is $1,200. Right. That was kind of more in line with what I was imagining. Yes. Yeah. So, case in point right here. Yeah. While still in Texas, Selena booked commercials and landed a starring role on the PBS hit Barney and Friends, which filmed in Dallas. In line at the opening casting call, the 7-year-old met another child star hopeful, Demi Lovato, and both landed parts. The girls and their moms developed a friendship that would stretch into the Disney days. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but obviously Barney was not my age range to watch, but it was my brother's age range to watch, right? So my brother was, you know, he's 8 years younger than me, so Barney was on when he was a little kid. And there is a girl in the original Barney who apparently to him looked identical to young Sasha. So my brother, as a toddler, was convinced that I, his sister, was on Barney, and he would not hear otherwise from anyone. So he told everyone he knew, well, Sasha's on Barney. And they were like, no, honey, Sasha's not on Barney. And he was like, yes, Sasha's on Barney. And he really genuinely believed that I was a star on Barney. Okay, that's really funny, Amanda. Maybe this is a common occurrence for people with little brothers. I did not know that anyone else had that experience. But he was I mean, dead convinced. My sister had a Barney doll that sang the song, and I may have broken it. Maybe. I don't know. My brother had a Barney birthday party for his 3rd birthday, and Barney came. Like a big purple dinosaur showed up to our house for this birthday party. I have pictures I gotta dig out for you guys. I didn't have to inspire Selena to work harder, Sullivan said. She was the hardest working actress I had really ever seen from the beginning. One day, while doing a 4-hour private session to prepare her for a pilot audition, Sullivan encouraged Selena to take a recess at the halfway mark. I said, honey, why don't we take a break? It's been 2 hours and you're just 9 years old, Sullivan recalled. And she went, you know what? You go ahead and you take a break, Miss Kathy. I'm going to look at the notes that you gave me so that next time we go through this, I will know how to fix some things. I mean, same Amanda. Sullivan said. She just wouldn't take a break. Todd Greenwald had been a writer on the first season of Hannah Montana when the network development executive Jenna Lee Cummings asked him to draft a pilot for a Disney Channel family show that involved magic in some way. It was 2006 and the heyday of Harry Potter. The Disney theme parks division was rumored to have pulled out of a deal that would have turned J.K. Rowling's franchise into an on-set attraction at Walt Disney World, which it eventually landed at Universal. But Disney still wanted a stake in the wizarding craze. Well, I never read different person. I never read a Harry Potter book and I've never watched a full Harry Potter movie, said Greenwald, who previously worked on Saved by the Bell and other network teen sitcoms. Despite his ambivalence, he came up with The Amazing Hannigans, which then became The Amazing O'Malleys, which eventually became The Wizards of Waverly Place, a show about a family of Irish-American wizards navigating the human world in New York City. He named the family's boy-girl twins Jordan and Julia after his own twins. Why are you picking them up so early, Becca? The network loved the pilot script, and Greenwald was offered the choice of 2 showrunners. One, a Disney Channel veteran with a proven experience in the candy-coated genre, and the other, an outsider with a rebellious flair. Peter Murrieta. Murrieta was a sharp-tongued improv master who performed at Second City in Chicago alongside comedians like Tim Meadows and Chris Farley, and who had understudied for Stephen Colbert before moving to LA to focus on writing. Greenwald chose Murrieta. Well, I knew that Peter had a vision that Disney Channel didn't have, and that he would put up a fight. I wanted him to be in their face, Greenwald said. That single decision was the most important decision of the entire Wizards of Waverly Place. Murrieta's work on the WB sitcom Greetings from Tucson, a show that he created about an upwardly mobile Irish Mexican-American family based on his own upbringing, had first caught the eye of Disney Channel executives a few years prior. But when Murrieta consulted his connections, they told him Disney Channel was tough to work with, so he didn't pursue anything at the time. The network reached out again with a tape of the pilot for the failed Lizzie McGuire spinoff Stevie Sanchez, asking if Murrieta thought that the pilot star Selena Gomez had potential. She was very charismatic, very sweet, he said, but also very green. He pushed that aside and took a writing job at the Kelly Ripa sitcom Hope and Faith in New York. And when the show ended abruptly after just 8 episodes, Murrieta's agent let him know that Disney Channel was interested in bringing him on to supervise The Amazing Hannigans plot. Murrieta hesitantly agreed to the meeting and then to a 1-year deal. I wasn't sure I wanted to do a kids show, Murrieta said. In my mind, I was like, oh, I'm going to help run this pilot. Lord knows if it's even going to go forward. The pilot script still needed work, and Murrieta set about revamping it with his own touches. Working with the established title, he kept the Irish-American patriarch, but made the mother Mexican-American and the kids biracial, similar to the family makeup on Greetings from Tucson. I was looking for things that would make it interesting for me to do, he said. Murrieta remembered Selena from the Stevie pilot and wanted to put her in the lead role of Julia, but she had already been cast as a potential Sweet Life spinoff pilot called Housebroken, which co-starred Brian Spanek and his Sweet Life character Arwen, and followed that handyman's adventures rigging up a smart house for his widowed sister and her kids. Selena, even at 13 years old, had a knack for sarcasm and deadpan delivery, a skill that she'd honed by watching every episode of Friends with her mom. I saw so much of Jennifer Aniston in Selena's delivery, which felt very prime time at the moment, original programming head Adam Bonnet said. Selena had sweetness mixed with a touch of mischievousness was just a winning combination. And after bouncing from a single episode part on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody to the Stevie Sanchez pilot, Selena was poised to finally land a starring role on the network. It took her a couple of years to really be able to understand comedy. Oh, sorry, that was a different Catherine. Catherine Stroud, who along with Lisa London had cast Selena in Stevie and Housebroken. Well, Disney was supportive of giving her time and project after project to get to the point where she could be the lead, because by then she had enough experience that she could start to hear the rhythm of the comedy herself. But the network had never tested the same lead actor in competing pilots before, and putting Selena in Hannigan's pilot would need a special approval. Marietta scheduled a meeting with entertainment president Gary Marsh and pled his case. Wouldn't casting Selena in both pilots provide a better opportunity to see which show was actually better? Marietta asked. The pilots could then be judged purely on concept and writing, and not the quality of the star, because they'd have the star in common. It was a decent argument, and Marsh agreed to let it happen. Selena was now in a win-win situation, guaranteed to lead her own Disney Channel show, no matter which pilot made the cut. That's extremely unusual, and especially for someone who's never been a star before, that's wildly lucky. Since Maria Canals-Barrera had played Selena's mom in the Stevie pilot, she was perfect to come back as her mother on The Amazing Hannigans. They cast The Hand That Rocks the Cradle actor Matt McCoy as the patriarch. For the role of Julia's twin brother Jordan, they considered Joe Jonas and Dylan O'Brien, but David Henry's experience on That's So Raven and the CBS hit How I Met Your Mother cemented his fate. Now, I was looking for somebody who was going to have some chops, Marietta said. I knew Selena was going to be awesome, but I really wanted to make sure that she had room to grow in this part. David would serve as her anchor. The Housebroken pilot tested okay and featured a familiar and beloved Sweet Life character, but it just couldn't compete against the magical zeitgeist. And the network only had the budget to move forward on one new live-action sitcom per year. Housebroken was a great show, said writer Adam Lapidus, who worked on that pilot. The problem was this was all happening right in the middle of Harry Potter, and these were wizards. Still, the Wizards show had problems that did need fixing. When they screened the pilot with a focus group, the Jordan character did not test well. The network pushed to ditch David Henry and create a whole new role for a different, younger actor to play Julia's little brother, Max. They eventually cast Jake T. Austin, who had voiced Diego on Nickelodeon's Dora the Explorer. But Marietta was adamant that David needed to stay too. Not only did David have more experience than the other kid actors on the show, giving them someone to look up to, his character struck a unique chord as a nerd who wasn't ashamed of his smarts and didn't fit into the sitcom stereotype. I can't imagine the dad from Hand That Rocks. I mean, did they change? They must have changed it then, right? I actually don't know. I didn't watch the show. I'll give you this younger brother, Marietta relented, but in exchange, we're gonna keep David, he said. The network allowed it and provided that Jordan, now repositioned as Julia's older brother, didn't drive many storylines and was allowed to fade into the background. Marietta ignored that stipulation. Because Nickelodeon was also developing a series called Just Jordan, the Disney executives requested that the name of the character change to avoid conflict. Jordan became Justin, and Julia transformed into Alex, a more tomboy name to fit her demeanor. They also recast McCoy and subbed in David DeLuis. There you go. That's your answer, Naisa. Why are parents so extra? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be that parent, though, so I can't even judge. I'm the extra parent. I already know it. Yeah. You're right, Naisa. They just said that. Who Marietta had worked with on the NBC sitcom Jessie. The base salary was 1/4 of DeLuis's usual quote, and he felt like he was debasing himself to move from network to kids' table. But times were tight, and playing a kooky dad teaching his kids magic seemed like a fun gig. It's not 100% about the money, DeLuise said. It's about what you're doing and enjoying it. DeLuise's Italian heritage led to switching the family name from the O'Malleys to the Russos, and the family's occupation went from running a magic shop to a sandwich shop. Finally, they changed the show title to advertise the wizarding connection right up front, The Wizards of Waverly Place. Latino representation on the Disney Channel had mainly been limited to Disney Channel original movies like Gotta Kick It Up and The Cheetah Girls, or supporting characters in the Boulevard, I actually don't know how to pronounce this, Boulevarde clan on The Proud Family. I watched The Proud Family and I still don't remember how to pronounce that name. Anyway,
Wizards was the first series on the channel to center a Latino family experience through the Mexican-Italian Russo clan. The show highlighted cultural touchstones like Alex's quinceañera, and behind-the-scenes showrunner Peter Murrieta, executive producer Ben Montiano, and frequent director Victor Gonzalez helped bring authenticity to, say the Z, so it really is Boulevardes? Oh my. I thought it was French. No, it's not Creole? Okay, what do I know? Victor Gonzalez helped bring authenticity to the storylines playing out on screen. When Shakira guest starred on a 2010 episode directed by Gonzalez, she was in awe of the inclusivity on the set. There was a moment between setups when she said to us, "I've never been in America doing anything where there's this many Latinos on set," Murrieta said, "so I was very happy to drive that at a time when I don't think that was on anybody's mind." It's a minor miracle that the character of Alex Russo, as audiences know her, exists at all. In kids programming, especially in Disney Channel kids programming, the main character needs to set a good example. They can mess up, but for the most part, they need to like school. They need to participate in extracurriculars, and they can't be bad at one certain subject. They can have flaws and they can have insecurities, but at their core, they're usually trying to be a good kid. The mold is, of course, skewed by latent sexism. Ren Stevens had to fit in. Louis Stevens did not. Selena's Wizards of Waverly Place heroine, however, is unabashedly lazy. She hates school. She's grumpy and sarcastic. She does the bare minimum and gets by. And she always looks for shortcuts to success. All the notes were like, "Why are her arms folded? We don't want to see Janine Garofalo or Daria," Murrieta said. "That's not our network," they told him. And it echoed writer and producer Matt Goldman. It was a constant resistance to everything we were doing, especially when Alex would not want to go to school or not want to do her homework. But Murrieta held firm. His own teen years were spent rebelling against authority and listening to punk music, not wanting to conform. Alex needed to stay true to that lived experience. "Well, thank God he fought for everything he did," creator Todd Greenwald said. "We had a responsibility, and kids are impressionable, but not everything is all roses and hugs." Still, there were compromises. In a season 3 episode where Alex doesn't want to read a book for class, the producer agreed to add a mock PSA at the end of the episode in which Selena herself reminds the kids the importance of reading. Looking back, Murrieta reimagined Alex as possibly, I don't know if I'm going to get dinged for saying this, so I'm just going to say Shmai Shmekshmuel, and her relationship with the character Stevie, played by Haley Kiyoko, could have been something more than friends, but it was never discussed or explored at the time. Instead, because giving Miley Stewart a boyfriend had rated so well on Hannah Montana, Disney asked Wizards do the same for Alex Russo, and she was given a werewolf love interest in the form of Mason Grayback, Greg Sulkin, which also paired well with the growing popularity of Twilight. But while Hannah and Raven had been star-driven shows with their characters named in the title, Wizards showrunners were intent on keeping the show an ensemble series. It wasn't Alex of Waverly Place, but it was about the Wizards as a family unit. The writers, which included Friends veterans Gigi McCreary and Perry M. Rain, incorporated ample Miha moments, the mother-daughter heart-to-hearts between Teresa and Alex, and they made sure that Justin and Max continued to have storylines of their own despite what the network wanted. I like that Alex was so normal on the show and not perfect. I think most people like that. That's like a huge thing in writing right now, like flawed characters. You know, everyone wants to see someone who's not perfect, right? You know, even in my own book, I don't think there's any character that is without like a very obvious flaw. Sasha, are you so extra you would send each kid home with a cauldron? Yes, probably. Have you met me? Do you know how much stuff I took as party favors to Zoe's birthday party and she's not even my child? All those kids got Rory stickers. All those kids got slime. All those kids got stickers that weren't Rory stickers. They got everything. And she's not even my child. So yeah, the kids are the only place where I actually spend money. Like I don't spend money on myself or anything like that, but when it comes to the kids, I throw all my dollars there. They wanted everything to be about Alex when Selena exploded, and we wanted to keep it balanced, Murrieta said. So if you took a look at the show titles and we started putting Alex's name in the title of every episode, even though it wasn't that much about her, that way they'd think it was an Alex story. In season 3, you can find Alex charms a boy, Positive Alex, The Good, the Bad, and the Alex, Alex's logo, Alex Russo matchmaker. Season 4 brought Alex tells the world, Alex gives up, Alex the puppet master, etc. But Marietta said Selena always thought of the show as an ensemble show. When we were trying to get stories over the finish line, she was very supportive so that I could tell substantial stories with mom, dad, and brothers, not just hers. Offset, however, Selena was following in the footsteps of her Disney Channel predecessors and becoming massive star in her own right. Paparazzi began staking out the soundstage parking lot at Hollywood Center Studios and following her on private outings, hoping to capture photos that they could then sell to the tabloids. I remember going to the beach with some family members who were visiting, and we saw far away grown men with cameras taking pictures of a 15-year-old girl in her swimsuit, she told Vogue. That feels violating. The attention she received from fans was more welcome. Young kids adored Selena, gravitating to her innate kindness. Sometimes Selena's workload meant that she would have to miss usual Friday night meet and greets with the Wizards audience in order to catch a plane or attend an event. But rather than dart out the door with a quick "love you, sorry," after the cast took their final bows, she often went out to the risers and spoke to the eager fans as a group. "I'm so sorry. I would be here for you, but I really have to do this thing," she told them. "I really wish I could stay, and I know I'm only here because of you guys." Her on-screen dad, David DeLuise, was in awe of her attentiveness. The kudos that she put into those kids, it was like she was a Jedi master in the making them think that they were the most important people in the world, he said. She knew how to talk to fans. She knew how to say, "It's not about me, it's about you, God, and then me." She put them all above herself. While shooting The Wizards of Waverly Place, Disney Channel original movie in Puerto Rico, a group outing to see Watchmen at a local movie theater quickly turned into a mob scene. But Selena took it in stride, calmly meeting fans and posing for photos. She was very down to earth with her celebrity in a way that I think is remarkable given her age. The film's producer, Kevin Lafferty, said, "To escape the masses, she would unwind in the peace of watching movies on her laptop on set, like Darren Aronofsky's dark addiction drama Requiem for a Dream, a film she later told Lafferty was her favorite of all time. When Selena began dating Justin Bieber, America's then reigning teen heartthrob, in 2010, the media coverage and fan obsession with their relationship became incessant. TMZ hungrily documented their date nights, including the time that Justin, inspired by the movie Mr. Deeds, rented out the Staples Center for a romantic steak and pasta dinner on the court, followed by Titanic playing on the Jumbotron. And the New York Daily News shared paparazzi photos of what was deemed to be a hot and heavy Hawaiian vacation. Back on set, some of her Wizards co-stars were more skeptical of this romance. Selena pulled me aside one time and said, "My parents are not so crazy about this boy I'm dating," DeLuise recalled, and I said, "Well, you have to listen to your parents because they have your best interest at heart." And when Justin first came to set to visit Selena, DeLuise walked by as the singer was trying to access the lockdown soundstage door. "And what's the code?" Justin asked, and DeLuise narrowed his eyes and feigned obliviousness to the star's identity. And who are you?" he snipped at him. Like so many of her predecessors at the Mouse House, Selena felt pressure, both self-imposed and from within the corporation, to be a good role model for her young fans. I wasn't a wild child by any means, but I was on Disney, so I had to make sure not to say "what the hell" in front of anyone, Selena told Vanity Fair in 2023. "It's stuff that I was also putting on myself to be the best role model that I could be." And while former PR head Patty McTeague said the biggest misconception about Disney Channel's role in their young talents' lives is that we actually want to control them, and argued instead that the network just wants to be mindful of the millions of kids looking up to them, it was an incredibly heavy burden to put on teens. To the untrained eye, The Wizards of Waverly Place might look the same as other multicam Disney Channel shows of the area, but the Wizards team was adamant that they did not want to fit the I Love Lucy or Laverne and Shirley mold that the series executive Adam Bonnet so cherished in the network's other sitcoms. Disney knew they had success with that, and they just wanted to keep it and trying to repeat it. Wizards writer and producer Matt Goldman said, "Kids are smart though. They know something's the same over and over again. Every show started with a conversation between me and Gary Marsh saying, 'Are we going to do this differently?' Bonnet countered, 'We always attempted to do something different.'" With Marietta at the helm, Wizards tried to buck the system and ignited constant friction within the network. It would be left to me to have ongoing, passionate conversations with the network who wanted 3 jokes to a page, Marietta said. Many days I would hear, "Where's the sitcom rhythm?" And I would say back, "You mean the rhythm that's killing the sitcom at the network level? The rhythm that people are tired of? Yeah, no, that's not here, because we're not doing that," end quote. Day in and day out, Marietta went to battle, and he and the other Wizards creatives felt that they were pushing the show to a better place, outside of the network's comfort zone. Goldman had been brought up in the school of Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld at Seinfeld, and when NBC wasn't pleased with their creative decisions, those men would retort with a version of, "Cancel it if you don't like it. We're not going out to sea in your ship. We're going out to sea in a ship we built." "My early mentors had a very strong belief that vision and voice are everything," Goldman said, "and with that, everything falls apart. So I felt that way, and Peter felt that way, and it created problems with Disney. Disney hated what we were doing, which was very similar to Seinfeld when I was there in the beginning. NBC hated Seinfeld. They tried to change it every day, and that's what Disney did with Wizards. Overall," Marietta said, "our relationship with the network didn't feel good or healthy, but the show felt great," end quote. Before taping, the cast and the producers would form a huddle backstage. One by one, they would go around the circle, look each other in the eye, and repeat, "I've got your back." It was like us against the world mentality. We felt like we were a unit, Marietta said. It became like we were a punk rock band and everyone else was Styx and Rush. Whether we took it on ourselves or not, I don't know, but it definitely felt like that's who we became, end quote. Creator Todd Greenwald agreed. "Yeah, we were very obviously the black sheep of it all." Despite the constraints and the friction behind the scenes, Wizards quickly became a ratings success. There was even talk of doing a theatrical Wizards movie, but ultimately they only did a DCOM, an extended TV special. While Wizards didn't achieve Hannah Montana level ubiquity outside of its audience, its 2012 finale was the highest rated of any Disney Channel show, drawing in a 9.8 million viewers. Morning friends now popping on and making up. Good morning, Sophie. Goldman's, 9.8 million viewers. You'd think when people find out I worked on Seinfeld, that would impress them the most, Goldman said, but I can't tell you how many people are impressed, or if not more impressed than that, by Wizards. And it wasn't just a favorite among fans. In 2007, a shift began to occur in the Emmys' Outstanding Children's Programming category. In a space previously dominated by news and educational docs, Disney received 3 of the 5 nominations that year for That's So Raven, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and Hannah Montana. The other slots, of course, went to Linda Elderby's Autism Special and the PBS documentary about kids with parents deployed abroad. Then, in 2009, the Emmys mercifully split the category into 2, pulling the nonfiction programs out for separate prize and finally giving the scripted kids' sitcoms a better shot without Elderby in the mix. I actually think that's a better choice because it feels really unfair to me to put a kids' sitcom up against a documentary about parents in the military abroad. Like, they don't feel comparable to me at all. They don't provide the same thing to a child's well-being, and they're not... I don't know, I think they both have a place. So having 2 categories makes sense to me. Disney Channel's only previous Emmy wins in the category had been for the anti-apartheid DCOM, The Color of Friendship, in 2000, and High School Musical in 2006. Now facing its scripted peers alone for the first time in 2009 ceremony, the second season of Wizards of Waverly Place was up against Hannah Montana and Nickelodeon's iCarly. Wizards won. The award show had stipulated that only the producers could take the stage to accept the trophy, but Marietta urged the Wizards cast to follow him up to the podium before anyone could stop them. I was like, "Well, whose prize is this?" he said. "It's everybody's." Some may have regretted the inclusion as DeLuise bounced up the stairs and he tripped and broke his collarbone. Still, the actor said, "I felt really, really nice to be able to say we're an Emmy-winning show and we're making good television. That's not a terrible feeling." Well then, that sucks. Yeah, I guess he broke his collarbone during the stage. When The Wizards of Waverly Place DCOM premiered in 2009, it became the network's second highest rated original movie of all time with 11.4 million viewers, only trailing the High School Musical 2 premiere. Network president Rich Ross called Marietta to congratulate him, and at an industry event, Disney chief Bob Iger made a point to shake hands and thank Marietta for his work. And then everything fell apart. About 6 weeks before they wrapped production on season 3 of Wizards in the spring of 2010, Marietta learned secondhand that he was being let go as showrunner for the 4th season, and the series producers Ben Montiano and Vince Chung were going to take his place. That's weird for something that's so successful. That began, as Marietta put it, the most dramatic part of my entire career. There were still 3 episodes to shoot of the third season of Wizards, and no one from the network had directly told Marietta about his imminent firing. Disney had a reputation for brutal pairings. In 2006, Buena Vista Motion Picture Group president Nina Jacobson had been partings, not pairings, ousted over the phone while she was at the hospital with her wife, who was giving birth to their 3rd child. Finally, while in post-production, Marietta received a call from his agent letting him know his contract on Wizards wouldn't be renewed for season 4. Technically, he wasn't fired. He just didn't receive a contract extension like the rest of the cast and crew did. Disney released him from his season 3 contract and paid out a portion of his bonus. And because the cast had already finished for the season, Marietta made a series of emotional phone calls saying goodbye to the actors he had worked with for the past 4 years. Oh! They got rid of Peter Marietta because he was holding true to the integrity of the show, and Disney wanted to change it, DeLuise said. Peter Marietta was the reason the show was funny. He was the reason the show was good. It was all Peter. Marietta felt the decision was largely the result of his constant creative clashes with the network executives. It may have also been, in part, driven by finances. Hannah and Sweet Life both attempted creative changes that decreased the cost for their 4th season. Losing executive producer Stephen Peterman and Michael Porres was initially the answer on Hannah, until Miley Cyrus put her foot down and demanded that they stay. With Wizards, the network didn't replace Marietta's position and just continued on with Montiano and Chung steering the ship. It felt like it was time for a change, original programming executive Adam Bonnet said when he was asked about that decision. But the showrunner saga wasn't over yet. That summer, Wizards received 2 2010 Emmy nominations in the Outstanding Children's Program category, one for the 3rd season of the series and one for the accompanying DCOM. When the network's chief creative officer, Gary Marsh, called Marietta to congratulate him on the achievement, it was the first time that they had spoken since everything went down. It's really odd, Marietta remembered Marsh telling him. I thought it was because we submitted both the movie and the show, maybe they would cancel each other out. Well, Gary, I'm thrilled to continue to surprise you even after I'm no longer working for you, Marietta retorted to him. On Emmy night, Marietta braced for the disappointment of winning nothing, or perhaps winning for the series, in which case he would have to jockey with Greenwald over who would give the speech. If the movie prevailed, however, Marietta would indisputably claim the glory, since he served as the sole executive producer. The movie won. I could feel the gasp. I could feel the bad energy, Marietta said. He triumphantly took the stage with the Wizards cast. It's a nice cap to it, but honestly it was bittersweet. I made a hit for Disney and I won 2 Emmys and they still fired me. I don't even know how to be successful enough to not be fired. End quote. Of course, Wizards of Waverly Place soldiered on without Marietta, and 106 episodes by the end of its 4th season, it became the longest-running Disney Channel show of all time. But that 4th season just wasn't the same. Without the cantankerous advocate of Marietta in the creative's corner, no one pushed back against the network executives and their demands the same way he had. Establishing supporting characters fell by the wayside as new actors were introduced for possible future franchises. They brought in all these new kids that they wanted to do other shows, and it just wasn't our show anymore, DeLuise said. Suddenly, I'm not even acting with my kids anymore. I'm over here with a guest star or with Maria. It was pretty disheartening. The finale that Marietta had envisioned would have seen Justin win the family wizarding competition because he had worked hard and wanted it the most. Alex would follow her heart and stay with her werewolf boyfriend since she didn't care about the prize anyway, and Justin would use his smarts to find a way to bestow powers onto Max. The final scene would pull back to reveal Rachel Dratch reprising her guest role as grown-up Harper and reading the story of Wizards to Alex's kids. In reality, the series wrapped up in a more predictable bow. Alex was named the family wizard, Justin becomes the headmaster of WizTech, the wizarding school, and Max was deemed worthy of one day inheriting the sub shop. At that point, Disney was like, it's a hit show, Peter's gone, we're taking the reins, Greenwald said, and the show was on autopilot. People were already halfway out the door, and we were all kind of just done. On the music side, Hollywood Records had faced an uphill battle to get Selena on board as an artist. It took 2 years from when she first joined Wizards to get her to sign a deal with the label, and when discussions began, she was adamant that she wanted to be a member of the band, not a solo artist. As part of the group, she wouldn't be competing directly with other more experienced solo pop artists at the label. In particular, her childhood friend with powerhouse vocals, Demi Lovato, would have been competition. Competing head-to-head with both your best friend and an artist in the exact same lane wasn't something that she was interested in, the label's then general manager, Abby Konowich, said. Plus, Selena was still figuring out her own identity. In her early days, she often wore jeans, Converse, and hipster accessories to red carpet events. She had famously added some subtle cobalt streaks to her hair in a 2017 Vogue party, where she excitedly told an interviewer, "I've got blue going on. I'm a little edgy." That's very cute. Selena's team proposed that she front a group similar to the setup of the singer Hayley Williams with the band Paramore. It would be called The Scene, a playful nod to the internet trolls who claimed that Selena was trying too hard to be seen, the indie sleaze subculture that was popular at the time. This was a bad idea, the label felt. Their past musical successes had depended on solo stars using their recognizable names to draw interest, so the two parties came up with a compromise. Selena would get to have a band, but they would also use her name, Selena Gomez and The Scene. Eventually, after 3 albums that sold more than 5 million copies total, the label won the naming battle, and Selena dropped The Scene in both name and actual band members altogether. Though she hadn't initially wanted to pursue music, Selena previously guest starred on 2 episodes of Hannah Montana playing a rival pop singer, and by 2009, Selena was spending her weekends and hiatuses working on her own singing career. But she didn't have a musical background or strong outside musical management the way that Miley and Demi did. And because Selena didn't routinely sing in her main Disney Channel projects, other than performing the Wizards theme song off camera, she had to fight to be taken seriously, and as seriously as her contemporaries. While shooting the music video for the 2009 collaborative charity single Send It On that featured Selena, Miley, Demi, and the Jonas Brothers, it became clear that Demi and Miley had been given more solo lines than Selena. Selena's mom, Mandy Teefey, sprang into action. Mandy pushed for directors Michael Blum and Tracy Peon to record footage of Selena lip-syncing some of the other girls' lines so that she could then record them in the final studio version of the track to equalize their parts, the directors recalled. Selena's mom was amazing, a true manager. She was like, if she's in this, she's gonna be in it as much as the other two, Peon said. We all wish we had moms who would be advocates like that. And while Mandy advocated for Selena to get equal treatment, and she and Selena's stepdad Brian Teefey co-managed the teenager's career, they didn't come across as usual stage parents. I would not believe from watching them that her mom had any interest in Selena being in this business at all. Wizards of Waverly Place, the movie producer Kevin Lafferty said, it was just that Selena wanted to be in the business, so Mandy said, fine, okay, I'll just make sure that she's safe and happy. End quote. Lafferty likewise praised Jump In star Keke Palmer's mom for taking a similar stance in her daughter's early career. Mandy looked on in a protective role and used to joke that she was on a constant mole patrol, vetoing tops and dresses that she felt were too revealing for Selena based on whether or not they covered a mole on her daughter's chest. And Selena praised her mom for allowing her the space to quit working if she so choose. If I'm not really enjoying it anymore, Selena told Elle in 2011, she doesn't want me to do it. But there was only so much a parent could dictate. Years later, when Selena was promoting her solo music career, the singer lamented the rote superficiality in an interviewer's question. Well, it made me feel like Disney, Selena said in a moment captured in her 2002 documentary, Selena Gomez, My Mind and Me. It made me feel like a product. It was a valid complaint. The entire music ecosystem at Disney was set up in a way that was rendering musicians and the music they created as little more than merchandise and metrics, no matter how talented the songwriters or artists may be. While Disney Channel may be encouraging its stars to sign with Hollywood Records and participate in Walt Disney Records' Disney Mania albums or join in sing-alongs like the Disney Channel Circle of Stars, they weren't often endowing the artists with any control. Disney Music Group is a consumer-led production division, Michael Lieb said, who spent years at Hollywood Records before becoming the head of music and soundtracks at the studio. They don't make or break artists. They inherit artists from the Disney Channel, and they make them as best as they can during a period when they're creating content for the Disney Channel. And then once those artists grow up, they don't want to be on Walt Disney Records or Hollywood Records. These aren't competitive record companies. They're consumer product divisions that happen to operate in records, end quote. Still, Selena has called her early time at Disney one of the best experiences of my life. And on the Wizard sets in particular, she said, I felt safe and that's really hard for me to do. she told co-stars David D. Luiz and Jennifer Stone on their Wizards of Waverly pod in 2023, "You guys genuinely loved me, and that's all that I could have asked for," end quote. During her time at the network, Selena didn't stir public controversy or face any outrage the way that Miley did. Like Hilary Duff before her, Selena seemed to toe the line and carry the weight of the Disney brand with ease. "Sometimes I imagine, girl, you must be tired," her Wizards mom Maria Canals-Berrara said. "But when she was always kind and respectful, humble and prepared, I never saw her even act out in any way other than being professional," end quote. Just a month after Wizards of Waverly Place wrapped its final episode in May 2011, however, Selena was hospitalized while on a joint promotional tour for her Fox rom-com Monte Carlo and her Hollywood Records album When the Sun Goes Down. "I was just very malnourished," the then 18-year-old said. "I was low on iron and I was exhausted." 2 days later, she was back to performing at an outdoor mall for hundreds of screaming fans. And in the following year, she would be diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, lupus, undergoing a life-saving kidney transplant and speaking openly about her, at times, debilitating mental health struggles. Even for those who made it look easy while in the throes of the 360 circus that came with being on the Disney Channel, it was a years-long, exhausting grind, the effects of which followed many into adulthood. Not only did performers endure the physical demands of a packed work schedule, but they bore the mental load of projecting perfection. As Selena told Vogue years later, "That was my job, in a way, just to be perfect." Wow. All right. That is certainly something. Tomorrow we read about the Jonas Brothers, apparently, which is, something I don't know a lot about, but I'm open to reading about them anyway, of course. It's not a fair expectation, but at the same time, I'm of two minds about a lot of this stuff. I'll say right before I go. It's like, it's not fair that they're doing this to kids, but at the same time, you almost have to know when you sign up to be on one of these shows what's going to be expected of you, right? Like, some of it is a little far, but not all of it is that far. And we're not talking about the studio system of the 20s and 30s anymore. We're talking about a much more inline system where they have work hours and different things like that. And it's like, you don't have to be a TV star. You could just go to school like everybody else, right? You would just go to a regular junior high, high school, go to college and get a regular job. If you want the possibility of being a star and you want the possibility of making these millions of dollars, there is a cost, right? Exactly, it comes with the job. And it's not fair to put it on kids, but also parents are putting their kids in this position knowingly. Like, no one in this day and age doesn't know what it's like and isn't given a clear explanation of those contracts. Like, it's a very clear line, you know what I mean? So it's like, we're not hiding. The entertainment industry's expectations are not hidden anymore. So while I do feel for them, I have two minds about it, Some stuff is unfair, but a lot of it's just like, then don't sign up for this job. Don't go to the audition. You didn't have to audition for the Disney Channel. You didn't have to be a television star. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. There's so many laws to protect them and everything is very clear. Yeah, the contracts are very clear now. It's very different. It's not like parents are being duped into something. We're not in that time. Even by the time that this happened, even by any of these Disney Channel things, even from the beginning of Disney Channel in the 80s and 90s, contracts were very clear. So, I don't know. That's just my personal thought on it. Everyone's allowed to have their own opinion. Do I think the kids should be working? Maybe, maybe not. That's not for me to say, but, there you go. Okay, so I have to go because my costume never arrived, so I'm going to go throw together a fake costume last minute. If I get it in time and make it back, we will have a live this afternoon, just like last year, in Halloween costume. That will be fun. I hope I get something fun in time. We'll see. I don't know. Yes, and their money is protected. Most of it. Yeah, that's true. Exactly. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Until then, happy Halloween. Please send photos of all your costumes. That's it.